Tonight, something rare is unfolding above us. The black moon opens a portal, a pause in time that few will truly feel. Its energy is quiet, intense, and strangely revealing. Most see it as darkness, but in truth, it is an invitation, a moment to step beyond the ordinary and touch the currents that shape your life. In this video, you will discover 9 spiritual truths that the black moon brings, truths rooted in ancient Shaolin teachings, mindfulness, and the subtle art of personal mastery. You will learn why stillness is more powerful than action, how hidden shadows can become your greatest guides, and how discipline can serve as your armor in a world that never stops pulling at your attention. Some of these lessons are known to only a few seekers. The portal amplifies energy, revealing patterns, connections, and opportunities invisible in ordinary days. You'll see why this moment is far more than a celestial event. It's a chance to recalibrate your mind, body, and spirit. By the end of this video, you will understand not just how to navigate this rare energy, but how to align yourself with it, turning the pause into a step forward in mastery and presence. Stay with me, because each insight builds on the last, and missing even one could mean overlooking a key to your own inner transformation. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, a place for seekers who choose awareness, discipline, and quiet strength. Subscribe now to join our journey and let this black moon be the moment that shifts the way you move through your life. There is a quiet that only darkness can offer, a silence that pulls you inward and shows you corners of yourself you've long ignored. The black moon does more than dim the sky, it casts light on what hides within. Shadows are not meant to frighten you, they are mirrors. They reveal the habits, fears, and attachments that quietly guide your every move. To face them, you must first slow. Sit with your breath. Let your thoughts come and go without clutching or pushing them away. This is mindfulness, not as a technique, but as a doorway. Each moment of observation is a chance to see patterns that no one else can. The irritation that lingers after a word spoken, the tension that rises uninvited, the choices you repeat despite knowing better, they all speak to parts of yourself demanding recognition. Do not judge them. Judgment clouds clarity. Instead, observe with the patience of a master watching the ebb and flow of a river. The river does not resist the rocks it encounters. It moves around them, shaping and being shaped, always present, always aware. In the same way, attention without judgment allows the hidden aspects of your mind to surface without fear. When you align with this inner truth, challenges stop being obstacles. They become teachers, each struggle a precise reflection of where balance is needed. Anger becomes insight, doubt becomes guidance, and fear becomes the path to courage. The black moon does not simply show you darkness, it offers the chance to turn that darkness into a lens, one that sharpens perception, strengthens resolve, and illuminates the clarity already waiting within you. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many see it as restriction, as something that binds or punishes. Shaolin masters teach differently. Discipline is a shield, a quiet form of protection. It is what keeps the mind steady when storms arise, and the body resilient when fatigue or fear threatens to take hold. It is not a chain, it is the path that guides you through life without losing your center. Rituals, small and consistent, become the heartbeat of awareness, rising at the same hour, practicing mindful movement, observing breath, or simply sitting in stillness. These are not tasks to complete but anchors. They root you in the present, giving the mind a reference point amidst the chaos of the day. The body remembers the rhythm before the mind even fully understands it. Over time, these practices create a quiet armor, a subtle but powerful steadiness that holds even when external energies feel overwhelming. The power of structure lies not in rigidity, but in clarity. When your mind and body are trained to respond with intention, intense energies, whether fear, doubt, or sudden opportunity, no longer scatter your attention. You meet them with calm. You meet them with awareness. Shaolin tradition emphasizes that mastery begins long before action is required. It begins in preparation, in repetition, in the gentle shaping of habit into instinct. Through discipline, the unseen becomes manageable. The chaotic can be moved through without being swept away. Every small ritual, every mindful pause builds a foundation that is invisible to the world yet unshakable within. This is the strength of inner mastery, not in conquering the world, but in mastering yourself and letting that mastery carry you steadily through whatever the black moon or life itself may bring. Energy is alive, moving in currents we rarely notice. The black moon opens a subtle portal, a moment when even the faintest vibrations of thought, emotion, and intention are magnified. What is usually hidden in the quiet corners of the mind becomes visible, and the ordinary weight of habit can feel heavier or lighter depending on how you meet it. To navigate this, first learn to watch without interference. Notice how tension rises in the shoulders when fear appears, how impatience tightens the chest, how joy spreads like warmth through the limbs. These sensations are not distractions. They are messages, signals from your own system. When observed with calm attention, they reveal the patterns that guide your choices and reactions. Flow is cultivated, not forced. In the Shaolin way, movement, whether in martial forms, breath, or thought, is guided by awareness. Energy that is blocked stagnates, dulling perception and clouding judgment. But when you allow it to circulate, when you match focus with breath and motion with stillness, insight grows naturally. The smallest shift in posture, the softening of a thought, or the gentle release of tension can ripple outward, aligning body, mind, and spirit with the rhythm of the moment. This is not magic. It is mastery of the inner terrain. By respecting the flow, you become a participant rather than a victim. Your intentions gain weight, your clarity deepens, and even the unseen currents of the portal can be read, understood, and harmonized. Ancient masters teach that energy is like water, resist it, and it erodes you, move with it, and it carves channels of wisdom and power through the self. In this way, subtle awareness transforms into strength, and the quiet moments of observation become the very act of mastery. The weight we carry is often invisible, hidden in thoughts we cling to, fears we rehearse, and attachments we mistake for security. Shaolin wisdom reminds us that true strength does not come from holding on, but from knowing when to release. Letting go is not weakness, it is a deliberate act of clarity, a conscious step toward freedom. Grudges and past wounds take more from the mind than any external force ever could. Fear, when nurtured, becomes a cage that limits movement and dims perception. Attachments, even those that seem small, can anchor the spirit in repetition and stagnation. Observing these quietly, without self-reproach, is the first act of mastery. Notice them, feel their presence, and then allow them to pass, as water flows around a rock. Release is not retreat. It is the clearing of space for what is vital, what is alive, what aligns with growth and purpose. Surrender is the paradox of strength. In the Shaolin tradition, surrender does not mean losing control. It means yielding to the natural order within and around you. By surrendering attachment to outcomes, by releasing the need to control every thought or event, you cultivate a grounded resilience. The mind becomes still, the body receptive, and the spirit alert. In that space, intuition sharpens, energy flows, and decisions are made from alignment rather than reaction. Every act of letting go is a seed for inner mastery. With each release, the self becomes lighter, more precise, and more capable of responding rather than resisting. The black moon amplifies this opportunity, showing the patterns that no longer serve you and inviting you to step beyond them. What emerges in their place is not emptiness. It is presence, clarity, and the quiet, disciplined strength that transforms ordinary life into intentional mastery. Awareness is not a thought. It is a sensation. It lives in the body long before the mind can describe it. The Shaolin masters teach that the body is the first teacher of truth. Every breath, every stance, every deliberate movement carries information about who we are in this moment. To ignore it is to wander half-blind through life, reacting to events rather than meeting them with clarity. Breath is the bridge between mind and body. A slow, steady inhale followed by a measured exhale grounds attention in the present. Posture is not just physical alignment, it is a reflection of inner balance. A straight spine, relaxed shoulders, and attentive stance signal readiness, not just to the world, but to yourself. Movement, when conscious, becomes more than action. It becomes dialogue with the present, a continuous reminder that life unfolds through sensation, not just thought. Even the smallest gestures carry weight. The way you reach for a cup, the way you walk through a room, the way you respond to a moment of tension, each act is an opportunity to cultivate presence. This is the discipline of embodiment, choosing to be fully there, not in theory, but in the cells, muscles, and breath of your being. Over time, these micro-practices accumulate. Awareness becomes instinct, and instinct becomes mastery. Shaolin wisdom shows that inner mastery is never abstract. It is not measured by how well you plan, but by how fully you engage with the reality of each moment. A life anchored in the body is a life that responds with clarity, moves with intention, and senses the currents of energy that most overlook. True presence is not something to achieve. It is remembered through the body, cultivated through simple, consistent acts, and lived in every breath, stance, and motion. Every change within ripples beyond the self. In the quiet of practice, when the mind settles and the body moves with intention, the shift is subtle but powerful. Shaolin and Zen teachings remind us that mastery is never solitary. What we cultivate internally resonates outward, touching people, places, and circumstances in ways unseen. When calm becomes habitual, it alters the energy around you. A measured response to conflict, a patient listening ear, a steady presence in moments of chaos. These are not small gestures. They are currents that influence the wider field. Just as a stone dropped in water creates expanding circles, every choice made from awareness sends vibrations through the interconnected web of life. Self-mastery is not about control over others. It is about cultivating the equilibrium within that naturally guides the external world. A disciplined mind, a body trained to respond rather than react, and an aligned spirit create an invisible influence. People feel it without knowing why. Situations bend subtly toward harmony. Decisions emerge with clarity, and even moments of tension are softened by the steadiness of one who has learned to navigate their own inner terrain. Zen philosophy calls this interbeing. Nothing exists in isolation. Shaolin echoes the same truth through the discipline of form, breath, and ritual. The practice of mastery is not merely for personal elevation. It contributes to the balance of the whole. By moving through life with awareness, your actions, calm, and intentions extend beyond the self, shaping the flow of events and touching the lives of others in ways you cannot always measure, but which are deeply felt. The path of self-mastery is therefore never private. Each small step toward balance becomes part of a larger design, a quiet force that aligns the individual with the rhythm of life, and through that alignment influences the world without striving to. Courage is quiet, not loud. The black moon does not demand blind leaps. It asks for conscious boldness, the kind that rises from awareness rather than impulse. Fear is part of the human experience. It signals what is unknown, what matters, what requires attention. But mastery is measured not by the absence of fear, but by the decision to act with clarity in its presence. Ancient Shaolin stories speak of monks standing before trials that would unnerve the strongest hearts. They did not rush blindly into danger. They observed, prepared, and then stepped forward with full presence. Each challenge became a teacher, each obstacle a mirror reflecting strengths and weaknesses alike. To walk into difficulty with intention is to honor the discipline of the self, to transform tension into insight and hesitation into precise action. Boldness under the black moon is rooted in this same principle. It is a deliberate confrontation with what holds you back, a limiting belief, a recurring pattern, a choice deferred too long. By meeting it head-on, you create momentum, not chaos. The mind sharpens, the body steadies, and the spirit remembers its capacity to navigate uncertainty. Even small acts of conscious courage accumulate. Speaking truth, maintaining presence in conflict, or simply choosing alignment over comfort, each is a step along the path of inner mastery. Shaolin wisdom teaches that the greatest growth emerges when the heart and mind are tested together. Fear becomes a compass rather than a chain. The black moon illuminates this truth, showing not just where we hesitate, but where our courage can awaken, and in doing so transform ordinary moments into profound opportunities for strength and insight. Stillness is a language few choose to learn, yet it speaks with clarity that noise can never touch. In the quiet, the mind unclutters itself, and truths that were buried beneath distraction begin to rise. The black moon amplifies this effect, creating a rare space where insight is not forced but revealed, like light slipping through a narrow opening into a dark room. Silence is more than absence, it is presence. Ordinary chatter, constant stimulation, and restless thought act as fog, hiding the pathways that lead to understanding. In contrast, deliberate stillness sharpens perception. Each pause becomes a lens, allowing subtle patterns, intentions, and possibilities to emerge with precision. It is here that decisions are not hurried but felt, sensed in the body as well as the mind. Meditation is the tool that cultivates this clarity. Sitting, breathing, observing without judgment, these practices are invitations to witness the flow of life rather than chase it. Reflection, too, allows the past and present to converse, revealing lessons that often go unnoticed in the rush of ordinary days. Shaolin masters stress that insight is not a sudden gift. It is the accumulation of quiet attention, repeated across hours and years until awareness becomes instinct. In this space, subtle directions of life make themselves known. A pause before speaking, a breath before acting, a moment to sense the energy in a room, each becomes a guidepost. What seems ordinary transforms into a compass for movement and choice. Stillness, cultivated with discipline, reveals not only what is happening around you, but what is unfolding within, allowing the self to navigate life with grounded presence, clarity, and effortless understanding. Wisdom is not measured by what sits in the mind, but by what moves through your life. Knowledge, no matter how profound, remains inert unless it is woven into action. Shaolin masters emphasize that understanding alone cannot shape the self, only living it does. Every insight, every lesson becomes a tool, but only when applied with intention and consistency. Action rooted in awareness transforms the ordinary into the sacred. Aligning your choices with principle, whether in small daily decisions or moments of challenge, creates a rhythm that carries into every area of life. Rituals, even simple ones, are anchors. They remind the mind and body of purpose, reinforcing patterns that strengthen attention, discipline, and presence. When focus, ritual, and choice converge, knowledge no longer sits on a shelf. It flows through thought, word, and deed. Consistency is the quiet power behind mastery. Shaolin teachings tell of monks who repeated the same movements for years, not for show, but to forge instinctive alignment between body, mind, and spirit. Each repetition, each intentional act compounds, the mind becomes steady, the body responsive, and the spirit resilient. Over time, mastery is no longer a distant goal. It is the natural state of being expressed in calm awareness and deliberate action. Transformation does not come from sudden insight alone. It comes from living what is known, moment by moment, breath by breath. Every decision, every small act of discipline, and every mindful ritual shapes the contours of character. Knowledge becomes alive, energy becomes directed, and life itself becomes a reflection of the inner mastery cultivated through patience, focus, and consistent practice. In this way, learning stops being abstract and begins to carry the weight and clarity of lived truth. The black moon is more than a moment on the calendar. It is a doorway, a rare opportunity to step into a deeper rhythm of life. What it offers is simple yet profound presence, discipline, and conscious alignment. By pausing, observing, and moving with awareness, you can navigate its energy instead of being swept away by it. This is a time to embrace stillness, to confront the shadows within, and to act with clarity. Each small choice, each mindful breath, each deliberate action becomes part of the transformation the black moon invites. What feels fleeting on the surface can ripple into lasting change, shaping your mind, body, and spirit in ways that extend far beyond a single day. Take these lessons into your daily life. Let discipline guide your routine. Let awareness anchor your decisions. Let presence transform even the simplest moments into practice. Over time, these small steps accumulate, turning insight into lived wisdom and ordinary days into the quiet path of mastery. Thank you for sharing this moment of reflection with us. If you found guidance in this video, take a breath, absorb its energy, and carry it forward. Like this video, subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire, and continue walking the path of awareness, discipline, and inner strength. Peace and clarity be with you.